The first central argument for macroevolution, you're going to hear this all the time, is that small adaptations lead to new species. This is called the difference between microevolution and macroevolution. Okay, and we'll explain what this means here in a minute. That micro leads to macro. So if you can remember that, that's the argument they're going to make. That you can extrapolate these small changes into big changes. Okay? Yeah, that's what you said. You said micro to macro. The second, and General Swanwick here brought that up about, well, monkeys or apes or this kind of thing. That argument is cashed out when they say that similarities in structure, which technically is called homology, and similarity in DNA are evidences of a common ancestor. Well, gee, we look like apes, right? There seems to be a similar structure here. And oh, by the way, when you look into the DNA, we have a lot of similarities there. So this appears to be evidence that we share some sort of common ancestor, that we're all related. But anyway, these are the two main arguments. So let's take a quick look at both of them, okay? And you don't need to know a lot of detail here. If you can just remember one philosophical point, or one point of reason, you can refute this entire argument. Let's take a look at the first one here. Small adaptations lead to new life forms, micro to macro. About 10 years ago, National Geographic had a whole edition devoted to this question: was Darwin wrong? What do you think they answered? Of course they answered no. They think Darwin was right. And of course he was right about much of what he said. There is adaptation within type. But they tried to extrapolate that into across types. And you know what the main evidence that National Geographic brought forth to say that Darwin was right? Here it is. This was the centerfold of this magazine, this whole edition. Here it is. A bulldog? You go, what? How does that show? What are you talking about here? Does anyone know where this is going? Here's the deal. Here's the reasoning behind it. They're saying, look, dog breeding is an example of evolution. Maybe there was one type of dog in the beginning, and then by breeding these dogs, you can ultimately get all these different varieties of dogs. You can get something as small as a Chihuahua and as large as a Great Dane. And so they're trying to say, okay, look, we can do this. And if you just extrapolate this over a long period of time, maybe you can go much further. That's the kind of the thought behind it. So breeding over a short period of time, or breeding in a short period of time, is really kind of a blueprint for macroevolution over a long period of time. Look, if we can get all these breeds quite quickly, why can't we get all these different types of animals over a long period of time? Can anyone see the problem with this kind of reasoning right here? This over here, macroevolution, is supposed to happen without any intelligence, right? There's nobody guiding it. But this is being guided by intelligent breeders.